Hey guys, Kevin and Mary for this week of Big Brother 17, episodes 3 through 5, and I figured I'd review it weekly because I really enjoyed doing that last year. Granted, last year I didn't enjoy it. This year, I'm actually really enjoying this season, honestly. I'm really enjoying it. I think this could end up being a very good season of Big Brother, and I know, like, oh, last year was really good. This year is actually very good because we actually have smart players who know what they're doing. And there are a lot of things I'm just really enjoying about the season. There's a lot that happened this week. There's a lot to talk about. But overall, I'm really enjoying this season. Let's just get into it. Going all the way back to Sunday. Of course, I will be talking Sunday through Thursday. So, Sunday through tonight's episode, and let's just get into Sunday. So, of course, as we know, James and Jason are basically the two HOHs. They basically were chosen to be the two HOHs, and one of the things I loved about them is that right away they decided, you know what, let's bond. And that's something that I think is really good because last year, they didn't really try to do that very well. I think they're actually using the Battle of the Block to their advantage this year. The reason the Battle Block didn't work as well last year is just because the players didn't really know how to use it. This year, I think they're actually using it pretty well. I mean, when they decided to team up and things like that, I thought that was really good that they did that. And basically, not only do they team up, but they bring Audrey and Davon in the alliance as well, which I thought was a very good move for them to do because, try to get close with them, get on their good side, try to get tight with these HOHs, get on their good side because they could potentially be the HOH for the week. And I thought that was really good that they did that. And I will talk about Audrey and Davon I'll talk about Audrey and Davon later, but basically, they decide to, Jason decides to nominate Becky, which he doesn't tell her about. He doesn't tell her that she's going to be a pawn. She's pretty pissed about it, actually, which I thought was interesting how upset she was about it. And also Steve, which Steve was very reluctant to, oh, actually, no, that was James that did that. Jason nominates Becky and who else does he nominate? I'm trying to remember. Becky and Jackie. No, not Becky and Jackie. I can't remember. Becky and somebody else. I'm sorry, guys. It was a while ago. I can't remember who else he nominated. It was Becky, and I don't remember who the other was. But basically he nominates them, and I thought that was interesting. And then James nominates Jackie and Steve. Now they're all pawns, but what I thought was kind of interesting that there's no point where they actually feel Jeff and Jackie are threats, and honestly, they're not. And you know why they're not threats? They're not really doing much in the house, and like people are saying, oh, why don't they go after Jeff and Jackie? They're not really the people to go after, honestly. I mean, the most that I've seen them in the house is just chilling with people. A lot of people are laying low. But I have to say as well, this is probably one of the most intense week ones that I think I've ever seen because it's week one. You don't expect them to play as hard as they did. Some of these players played extremely hard this week, and it's incredible how hard some of the house guests played, really. A lot of them are laying low, but most of them played really hard, especially like the Audreys, the Devons, the James, people like that. But basically, that's what they decide to do. Now, back to back to last Thursday. Of course, the host of the Amazing Race, whatever his name was, I don't remember what his name was, but basically Phil Kogan, I think is Phil Kogan, that's his name. He had told Vanessa and Davon that they would actually benefit from sitting out the competitions, and basically what they get to do is they are automatically safe for the week, Vanessa and Davon, which I thought was really good. They did that for them. I thought that was definitely really good because on the Amazing Race, I guess they did this thing called the Amazing Race Fast Forward. So they did the BB Fast Forward, and basically Vanessa and Davon are safe for the week, and they get to pick one person to also be safe with them. Now, I like the way they did this. I like they didn't just pick one person, right off the bat. Some people said, well, why didn't Davon just pick Audrey? Here's the thing, guys. Just because you bond with someone instantaneously doesn't mean that you're going to bond with them the whole time. I like what Davon did. She was really smart with doing this. She thought, who is the best person that's going to save me? Who is the person that's going to save me? And the person she chooses is Liz. And she chooses Liz because of the fact that Liz said, I will guarantee you safety and I will make sure that you're safe. I'll make sure no one comes after you. That I thought was really good, because if she would have saved someone who would have come after her next week, that could have been really bad. So I like that Devon did that. Honestly, I thought that was really good. And then Vanessa picks Austin, so those two are safe, and I thought that was definitely very well done that they did that. So, meanwhile, Jace and Austin are forming this bond, and it was kind of funny to see, but at times it did get a little bit annoying, and I can understand how it annoys the rest of the house guests. And the thing with Jace is just, I don't like Jace, honestly. I never liked Jace. I liked Jace for the first night, but then the second night, when he started calling, like, Colorado Rado and tried to be cool like that, I didn't like that at all. I didn't think he was cool. It came across as annoying, and I really didn't think that was funny at all. I honestly did not think that was funny. So then, of course, he tries to basically, like, be, like, more, he has, like, a really big ego and things like that. That's the thing with Jace. Like, he's a nice guy. He's not a bad guy, don't get me wrong, but he just has this really bad ego, and he doesn't really know how to contain himself and how to control that ego. And I thought that was interesting the way we saw that throughout the week with Jace, trying to control his ego. Definitely you can tell he's trying to do that. So Audrey right away wants Jace gone. She feels he's the target. So they decide, and I like they did this, they decide they're not going to nominate him. They're not going to they're not going to nominate him, and they're not going to make sure that he can win Battle of the Block or play in the veto. So what they do is they decide, let's backdoor him. And honestly, I thought that was really good that they planned this out way before they even nominated people. That's something that I don't think we've seen in a while, and I thought that was really good the way they handled that. They could have handled it in a much worser way, but the way they handled it, that was very well done, I have to say. I definitely really enjoyed that for the most part, the way they handled it. Definitely, I really enjoyed the way they handled that. Steve, meanwhile, he didn't want to go up, when James wanted to nominate him, he didn't want to go up as a pawn because pawns go home first, and I do see his point, but Steve, I think, needs to keep his cool a little bit. Steve, to me, is one of those players that I think he's just a little bit too serious. I mean, yeah, it's fine if you want to, like, be serious and, like, play a good game, but play a game more like Devon, someone who is very in the game, but can also have a lot of fun and everybody really likes. And I'm not saying everyone doesn't like Steve, I'm pretty sure everyone does like Steve, but I think he does need to, get a little bit more, get more into a comfort zone, maybe have a little more fun with himself. I understand he's kind of nerdy and things like that, and like he's not really, used to that, but I think he should have maybe handled a little bit better, but I like, for the most part, that he decided, you know what, fine, I'll go up, and he went up anyway, and there was nothing he could do about it. James and Jason, for the most part, I thought they were really good HOHs, definitely. James is a little bit of a creeper, though, definitely. I mean, the way he was, like, talking to the girls, I understand that, like, you think they're hot, like, I'll admit, like, the Liz's and, the Beckys and people like that, they're hot, definitely, especially, like, Liz and Becky, oh my god, they're really hot, but, like, maybe calm it down a little bit, like, there's literally a part where he goes to Jackie, and she's like, what do you think about it? He's like, I'm thinking about you in a bikini. Yeah, she might have nice, tits, but maybe calm that down a little bit, seriously, you're in the house, like, this is not the Playboy Mansion, this is the Big Brother house, and I think James needs to understand that. Other than that, I think I really enjoy, his presence in the house. I think he definitely was really good, and for the most part, he was very fair. Like, what he did in the house, I thought was very fair with, and Jason as well. I really like Jason, I feel, is gonna go really far, honestly. I didn't like Jason at first. Now, I really do like Jason. I know I said in episode 2 I didn't like him. I really like him now, I do. I don't think he's annoying. I don't think he's like Frankie. He's just there to be fun, and honestly, you want to have fun. That's great. I like that he's there to have fun. But he is there to play, but his head is in the game, and I thought that was really good. That's something I like about the season, that no one seems to be a floater. Everyone seems to have their head in the game. Everyone's like, oh, I'm afraid I'm gonna go home. I'm afraid I have to swear. I have to go to this person, and that's something that I think is really good. Cutthroat at its best is really good. Some of the players are lying low, like the Shellys and the Clays, but that's not going to last for long. I'll talk about why when we go to the events of tonight's episode, but basically, I thought that was really good. So going to the Battle of the Block, basically, Becky and John, I believe they were the two that were nominated. They win the Battle of the Block. Jason's dethroned, and James is now the official HOH. And I thought that was definitely very good, and I, for the most part, really enjoyed that. So I was surprised by how much I was enjoying Sunday night's episode. I'm like, wow, this is a really good quality episode of Big Brother. There wasn't anything annoying that happened. There wasn't anything I didn't like. The only thing I didn't like was Jace. That was really it. For the most part, I really love the house guest this year. I really do, honestly. Now we're gonna go into Wednesday night's episode, which crazy episode last night. Last night's episode was insane. Really, it was. A lot of things to talk about. Let's first get to this whole Devon, Clay, Jeff Clay situation. Jeff should have handled this a lot better. Okay, so basically, here's what happens. Devon for me is like the all-star player of the week, honestly. I love Devon. I think that she could possibly win, honestly. The way she's playing the game, she's playing in such a subdued way, but she's also, like, not afraid to get her hands dirty and get blood on her hands. That's something I think is really good, because for the past few seasons, everyone's like, I don't want to get blood on my hands. These people are like, no, I want to get blood on my hands. I want to get dirty, and I understand why. Honestly, getting blood on your hands is not a bad thing. It's really not. I mean, you get blood on your hands, yeah, you create tension, but if you know how to handle it like Devon does, and if you know how to, if you have really good claims, I think that was really good. So Devon figures that there's going to be, like, a counting competition, so she starts to count, like, all the furniture, and she goes into Jeff and Jackie's room, which, by the way, Jeff and Jackie, I don't like the way Jeff and Jackie are playing. Really, I don't. Because if they don't want to play together, you should not be seen together. Because basically, Jeff and Jackie are talking about, oh, we shouldn't be seen together in bed together. What do you think people are gonna think? Like, seriously, what do you think people are gonna think? And what I like is that, though, after that, they decide to, you know what, let's not talk a lot. And ever since that episode, they didn't talk a lot. So I like that they did that. And also, Jeff and Jackie, I do like them. I was worried about this amazing race twist, but I honestly really do like Jeff and Jackie. I think they're fine. Jackie's not annoying. Jeff is kind of dickish at points, especially in this scenario. Let's just get to it. So basically, she goes into Jeff and Jackie's room, and Jeff's like, why are you in my room? What are you doing there? And he, like, calls her out in it, and she gets really pissed about it. And honestly, Devon had really good claims that there's no rule that says you can't go into other people's rooms, and I agree with what Devon said there, that, you know what, if she wants to go in her room, in their room, she can. It's her house too. It's all these people, this is their house. Like, it's your house guests. Nobody is above anyone else, and I like that Devon said that. It's true. She can go into their room if she wants to. So they get in this whole big fight and everything, and honestly, what I like, though, is that it wasn't a dumb fight. She had really good claims here, and she had a right to be pissed, honestly, because all she was doing, it was all competitions. It was all just, getting ready for a competition. Let's count stuff and get prepared for that. I like the way she did that ahead of time, and definitely that was really good. Maybe she could have taken notes or something. I mean, that was definitely very good. But then she gets really pissed at Audrey because Audrey didn't back her up, and she felt like Audrey should have backed her up in that scenario. At this point, she basically is just pissed at anyone that talks to her. And basically, Day comes out, which is kind of like, when she's her sweet self, she's Mama Day, but then when she's evil, her twin Day comes out, so that was kind of funny the way she did that. And basically, she calls Audrey out on not backing her up, and this is kind of when Audrey and Devon split up, and honestly, I thought this was actually pretty good. And that whole alliance between Shelly, Audrey, and Devon, that's dead. That's not happening. And I was thinking it might happen, but after that whole scenario, there's no way that's going to happen. There's no way they're going to have that whole alliance. That there's no way that's going to happen. And unfortunately, while I would have liked to see those three in an alliance, I don't think that's going to happen now. I really don't. After that whole fight between Audrey and Devon, that pretty much just says that, nope, this alliance isn't going to happen. And I do like, though, what they decided to do. Before this, they did decide to add some people to their alliance so they have the votes to get Jace out. They added Clay, and they added Meg, which Meg I was surprised about. Meg kind of seemed like a floater to me. No, Meg's got her head in the game, and I was surprised with that. I mean, Meg definitely, these people aren't dumbasses. They're actually very smart. There's not one person in this house that I think is an idiot. Really, there's not, and I think that's really good. And then I want to get into Shelly and Clay, because Shelly and Clay, as we know, they did have some connection, and it seems like they are together. I kind of like these two together. I honestly think they're pretty cute together. I like how Clay is sweet to Shelly. I like how much he cares about her. I personally like these two together. Honestly, I do. I can understand if you guys don't like them together. I personally think that they do have a good connection, and I like these two, and I think for the most part, I like the two together. Really, I do. I like them. I don't think they're annoying. I don't think that it's kind of like a forced relationship either. I don't think one likes one more than the other. It's not like a Jeff and Jackie scenario where you can tell that basically Jackie, doesn't like Jeff when Jeff thinks he likes her more than that she likes him more than he likes her, which is actually pretty funny. If you think about it, that's actually a really funny scenario. But yeah, that basically is what's going on in that whole situation. So basically, that's what happened there with Shelly and Clay. I like them for the most part. So after this whole Audrey and Dave Vaughn situation, we go to the Power of Veto, where I kind of like what the Power of Veto ceremony was. It was basically like it was the spelling competition thing they always do. But this year was boogers, kind of strange the way they're doing that. I don't know. Don't ask me. It's kind of strange, but basically, they spell words, and for the first time in, like, seasons, every single person spelled a word correctly, which was actually pretty funny, and Steve wins with, like, one of the longest words ever, what the word was basically, trombonist, which you can tell how intelligent Steve is, and that is the moment where I really feel like Steve finally got himself into that environment, which I thought was really good. I like that he did that, and I definitely really, for the most part, enjoyed that. So I was happy for Steve, and that pretty much seemed to have, now he has a good bond with people, and I really enjoyed that, and that's something I thought was really good with Steve. Um, Something else I will say, though, is that we do start to see a lot more of just Jace being annoying. He streaks. I'm pretty sure this was because the live feeds came on. I guess they streak, but, like, you didn't really need to streak. That was kind of annoying that he did that. And, yeah, so Jace is pretty much isolating himself from the rest of the house with Austin, and I really love what James, Audrey, and Audrey did. They basically make them think that they have this four-person alliance with Audrey. I believe Dave Vaughn was in as well, and also, actually no, it was Jason, Jace, and Audrey. They basically make this fake alliance with Austin and Jace and make them think that they're safe, and I thought that was a really good thing that they did, and they call it Cloud Town, which was kind of strange, and you can tell that it's fake. You can just tell they're doing that, and basically Audrey Audrey's like, oh, we want to make this big move, and they're like, what could you possibly make? So Audrey comes up right on the spot, oh, we're going to backdoor Jason, which I thought was a really good thing that they did because it made them feel like they're safe, and I really enjoyed that because most times people know they're going home. Jace never knew he was going home till he was nominated, which I thought was actually very well done. So that, for the most part, I really enjoyed. And then we go to the Have Not room, and this was just great. I really love this. The Have Not room is a dentist office, and I like what James did. He decided to pick, what the 4 people that are safe. He picked them, Vanessa, Davon, Austin, and Liz. They basically are now in this Have Not room that's like a dentist office. So Johnny Mac, who I gotta say, loving this guy, honestly. Johnny Mac is hilarious. Nobody calls him that, but that's of course what he wants to be called, and most people are calling him that. So Johnny Mac, I think he actually is very funny. I really like this guy. I think he could be a really good strategic player as well, and that's something I like seeing the first few weeks. The first few weeks, that's when people's personality, you start to see the personality more, and that's something I really like, is seeing the dentist's office, things like that. That was definitely very funny, and I definitely really enjoyed that. So the fact that Big Brother put a spin on that was definitely really good, because most times I Have Not room is just this empty room that's really dark, that's really cold and just disgusting, but they actually put kind of a fun spin on that, and I really liked it. They even had the plant from, like, Little Shop of Horrors, so it definitely gave me some Little Shop of Horrors vibe, which, automatic props for that. Automatic props right away. That's great. So, that's something I really enjoyed. And now we're going to get into this whole Audrey situation. This was insane, honestly. There's a difference between cutthroat playing like Devon did and straight up being Devin. Okay, I knew Audrey was, a good player and that she was definitely, her head was in the game and that she was a super fan. I didn't think she was Devin. Basically, that's what she is. She's Devin because Basically, she's even worse than Devin because here's what she does. This was pretty insane what she does after the Power of Veto ceremony. So because her and Devon had that whole fallout, she wants to create a new alliance. And the whole conversation starts between Audrey, Meg, the whole conversation, it's Audrey, James, and Jason, I believe, was in there. And pretty much what she does is she just starts adding. She's up at 5 in the morning while Jeff and Meg are talking. She's like, Jeff, come with us. We want to talk to you. So she takes Jeff, and then a few hours later, then a few minutes later, she takes Meg. Then she takes like Clay, and then she just keeps adding more and more people to her alliance. And eventually, she forms like this 8-person alliance and wants to call it 5 a.m. because she woke them all up at 5 a.m. Like, you don't need to do that. Seriously, Audrey, you don't need to do that. I understand, like, she wanted to create an alliance. I get that she wants to get on people's good side. There's a difference between forming an alliance and being a Devin. She's just playing way too hard, and I think her head is way into the game. I mean, I'm sure she's a nice girl, and she seems like a nice girl. I just think she needs to maybe just, like, back up a little bit, maybe not play as hard. Then I'll like her. I don't hate her, honestly. I don't hate Audrey. I think she just did way too much there. Like, that's way too much for the first week. First week, a lot of people laid low. I will give you some examples of people that will lay low right away. Shelly laid low, Liz, Austin, Steve, Becky, John, Meg, they pretty much, Clay, these people laid low. Well, not really Clay, but these people laid low for the most part. Vanessa, they laid low, and, Davon, James, obviously James because he was the HOH, but Jason and Audrey, these 4 are definitely cutthroat players. You can definitely tell they want to be in the game, and, I understand. I really hope that this is not a Derek situation where Audrey basically controls everything. I just don't really want that. So from here on out, people are just not trusting Audrey. They're against her. They don't want anything to do with her. James even brings the possibility of possibly renominating her, but I think, possibly putting her up for, as a renom, but I'm pretty sure he didn't do this because he knew Audrey would turn on him. He knew he had this alliance with Audrey. He didn't want to lose it, and he knew that Audrey would probably come after him. If I heard correctly on the live feeds, I guess Audrey would, like, create a house meeting, like, every single day, which is just insane that she did that. So, basically, he puts up Jace, and, pretty much here, I thought this was really interesting what ended up happening. Jace goes up, and he now knows that he's not safe. He knows that that alliance was fake, and basically, he, as I said, he has this ego, and it finally comes out, and he starts targeting all of them, and he basically just starts to do whatever he can to sway the vote, get people on his side, and now we are in tonight's episode, basically, so if you haven't seen tonight's episode, spoilers, but I'm sure you guys haven't seen tonight's episode because you're watching this video, so, but basically, he tries to get the votes from whoever he can. He even gets Steve at one point, tries to get the votes from him, but it just doesn't seem to be working. He has this really big ego, and it's really coming out, and, Audrey has this whole conversation with him saying she had nothing to do with it, and he knows she did, and he's really pissed at her for doing this, and then he's gonna, get rid of her, and I'm just like, calm the hell down, seriously. Like, Jace it's week 1, like, you don't need to explode because you're leaving, like, just face it, okay, you're leaving, be the bigger person, that really is what you need to do, and that's something I thought was really good with Jackie, who, she didn't do anything, she didn't try to go after anyone, she just laid low. I definitely like that, honestly. I understand, like, he was afraid of leaving, but he didn't have to, like, explode over it. He didn't have to be like, oh my god, I'm leaving, I'm having a temper tantrum. Arr! Like, he didn't have to, like, go completely, like, gorilla style and just, like, go crazy, He could have maybe, could have done it a little bit better. Definitely, he could have done it better. But basically, that's what ends up happening, and we see after this that Julie reveals who the twins are, and it is Liz and Julia, which I knew this. I told you guys I knew this. I wanted to not say this, but, good that it's Liz and Julia because, one, they're both really nice to look at. There is that. You can definitely tell they're trying to make Liz, like, the sexy one of the season, because if you look at the intro, Liz is, like, the only one in, like, a bikini, so that's kind of funny. They're both really nice to look at. They both look alike, so honestly, I think this twin twist could be really successful. And, again, I knew this because I looked on an article, like last week, and I saw Julia and Liz, and I'm like, okay, they're the twins, obviously. And apparently they've been doing this for like the past several days. So what they basically do is now they have confirmed it. If they make it through the first 5 weeks, then basically they get to play individually. And honestly, the way it's going, I think they're going to be very successful. Audrey seems a bit skeptical, but then just start getting to a conversation of how Jeff has a twin brother and Shelly has a twin brother. And then I like the way Liz played it out, or Julia, Liz or Julia, whoever it was. And honestly, I'm not going to be able to tell who is, so that's actually really good because I don't really see a difference between them. They look exactly the same, they sound exactly the same, and they dress exactly the same, and they act exactly the same. You know, they both have that really flirtatious stuff, and I really do like that. And you can definitely tell that Liz is there for a showman. So, like, she's there to be. They casted her because they thought she was hot, and which she is, but I like that they did that. That was kind of funny. And, yeah, so I think, honestly, she could do really well with this, and I like that they picked Liz to do this, because so far she's doing a really good job. Liz and Julia, they're definitely doing a really good job with this. So, basically, then it's time to evict, it's time for the eviction ceremony. Jace goes all out with his, like, eviction speech. It's insane, the way he did that, and basically, Jace is evicted. No surprise there. Audrey is the hinky vote, though. She actually decides to evict Jackie. I think the reason she did this is because she didn't really know how the votes would be swayed. So I think to be safe, she evicted Jackie. I think that's really why she did that, because she knew there are people coming after her, so I might as well. And she knew that Jace would come after her if she didn't if she evicted him. So I think that's why she she chose to evict Jackie. That's why that happened. So Jace evicted. I really liked his eviction speech. He said that he really does love everyone and that he's really happy that he was there and that he thought he could have played a little bit better. I like that he acknowledged that, Jace is not a bad guy, as I said. He just has this really bad ego, and he came out, and that really was the problem, honestly. That really is my only problem with Jace. He just has this really bad ego. So his eviction speech was really good. Then Liz and Julia reveal that they're the twins. I'm pretty sure this is going to be like a regular thing where like every single week, whoever gets evicted, they're going to reveal they're the twins until we get to week 5. And I'm sure they'll stay there because I don't think that Liz that Liz, Julia, I don't think they're targets at all. So I kind of like that they're playing them off as one person because they do have to play the same person. So I think that's kind of funny the way they're doing that. So, basically, what happens after this whole, Jace eviction is we find out that Kathy Griffen is going to be the next, BB Takeover person, the next person to do the BB Takeover. I actually really do like her takeover. I think this could actually stir up the game pretty well, and it's definitely better than just let's put 2 people in the house, from our show, because obviously Kathy Griffen can't do that. So what she decides to do is there's going to be her thing is called The Last Laugh. There's basically going to be this telephone throughout the house, and throughout the week, she's going to be calling different people, and whoever the 7th caller is, they get to pick themselves and 4 other people to not vote for the eviction ceremony, which is definitely very interesting that they're going to do that. That could actually stir up the house really well, because these 4 people don't have to do anything, and this could really make them targets for the week, honestly. Just because they don't get to vote doesn't mean that they don't get to go up as, it doesn't mean that they don't get to go up as, like, nominees. They definitely could be up, and I definitely feel like whoever those 4 people are, they're going to be targets, and that right there is going to stir up the pot, and I really do like that, and especially if they keep it secret. Everyone's going to be like, well, was it you? Was it you? This could be very interesting to see how this all plays out, so I'm definitely seeing how they play that out. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So that happens, and then they have the whole HOH competition, which I really like. What is it with Big Brother in movies, though, this year? They had, like, a Kathy Griffen movie with, like, Andy as this, it was called, like, Ginger Fever, and she didn't like the poster at all, so they had to change it. I don't understand what it is with Big Brother in movies. I really don't. They keep making all the HOH competitions about movies, but whatever. Becky and Shelly end up winning, so I thought that was kind of interesting that they did that. I didn't think Becky and Shelly really had in them, but I mean, I thought they had in them, but definitely I didn't expect that. But wow, finally, I think this is one of the first times in a while where a guy hasn't won HOH. That's really surprising. Maybe this will be the year where girl finally wins. I honestly would want that, because it's not that I don't like the guys, it's just, come on, like, you should have it somewhat equal, guys, girls, come on, like, try to, I like that the guys aren't being misogynistic this year. They're not being rude. They're not, like, even talking much about strategic. They're allying with girls, and I like that. There's no all-guy alliance. There's no all-girl alliance. It's all neutral, and I really do like that. So they're gonna so basically, Becky and Shelly, they're the two HOHs. They're going to nominate people, and we'll see how this all works out. So overall, guys, I've really enjoyed this week. I think this has been a really good week of Big Brother. Very surprising how much I'm enjoying this season, but really I am. So far, really solid stuff. I don't know how the rest of the season's going to go, but for right now, really solid season. Honestly, really solid stuff. I'm really enjoying what we're seeing. My only complaint is I think Audrey maybe needs to not call as many house meetings. I heard, I think she needs to not do as much with the alliance, maybe just lay low a little, because I feel like she definitely is a target for next week. Definitely, especially with her actions, with what she did. I definitely feel like she's a target for next week. I hope that's not true, but we'll have to see what happens there. Who will Becky and Shelly put up? I'm not sure. Definitely Shelly and Clay. I don't know if they're gonna work, if she's gonna have Clay help her. I hope that Shelly, what she doesn't do is have Clay, like, make the decisions for her. I hope that doesn't happen, because, like, I know when you're in a showmance, like, you can make up this own decision together, but Shelly is in a tough position because Clay is not there, and I'm interested in seeing what's really gonna happen with that. Is this alliance gonna stick? I'm not really sure. I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen. I definitely feel like next week we're going to start to see people that were kind of unspoken this week actually be more vocal, like John and, like John and Meg. I mean, Meg was definitely playing. Like, she was one of the people that suspected Audrey was doing what she was doing, which I thought was really interesting. But overall, guys, really enjoyed this week. Let me know what you guys thought of this week's episode of Big Brother. What do you think of the eviction of Jace? Do you think, he deserved to leave? I pretty much think he did. That's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. I will see you guys in my next, which one my review for tonight's episode of Where Pines. I know this video was really long, but I had to talk about a week's worth, so what do you expect? And I will see you guys in my next video, as I said, which will be for my review of tonight's episode of Where Pines, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.